This podcast episode includes discussions about sensitive topics such as sexual assault and suicide. The content may be distressing or triggering for individuals who have experienced or are sensitive to these issues. Listener discretion is advised, and we encourage you to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being while listening. If you or someone you know is in need of support, please reach out to appropriate resources or professionals for help. Well, I'm so excited for our podcast, another episode of Faith Like This. Yeah. I'm Minuet Silver.
And I'm Freddie RAMSEY Jr.
Where we talk all things God.
And all things entertainment industry.
That's right. So, Freddie, tell me, what genre are you gravitating towards a lot right now?
Ooh, wow. Man, I've always been a lover of like psychological thrillers. That's big for me. Dramas, I like drama. I really like rom-coms. One of the first or my biggest plays when I first got into acting was Barefoot in the Park, and I feel like that fits in that world. It's like a romantic like comedy. So I really like that space, and I like to play in that space too. So that's it for me. What about you?
That's cool. I love drama, but mystery. Yeah. I grew up reading a lot of R.L. Stein, Agatha Christie.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah, love mystery, psychological thrillers, horror, and comedy.
I love comedy. Yeah, I left that one out. I think comedy is needed.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of heavy stuff going on in the world, and I feel like comedy opens up that space for us to like relax and not take things so serious. Yeah. And it brings us joy even into our house. I remember being a kid when Martin was really big, and like we kind of all knew. You know, like, you're going to go do your thing throughout your day, but we going to sit down, we going to watch Martin, and like we going to laugh. I feel like that brings a lot of joy to our household. So comedy is really good. Yeah.
I think so as well. And it's interesting because I found myself falling into the comedy space out here. It's like one of those things you didn't know you needed or really asked for. Yeah. I've interned for Tracy Oliver. I was Laurel Howery's assistant for 3 years. Wow. My mentor works with Dave Chappelle and does a lot of comedy.
These are light flexes.
So it's just, I've been blessed, right? And it's interesting the amount of comedy I've actually been around as far as how the genre and how it pertains to Hollywood. I think it's a very distinct niche. In fact, Things Not Said that we just did, it was my first time writing and directing comedy.
Yeah.
So we're in post, excited about that. And I've just been studying the formula of comedy because it's such a distinct niche.
Yeah, and it's a craft. It's definitely something to study. Some people are naturally born with the gifts.
Right.
Obviously, we've talked about that in other episodes. There's a talent there, right? But it's definitely something that you have to refine. I think that's what makes our next guest, so profound. And, like, we're really excited to have this guest for multiple reasons.
Because he's from Baltimore.
He's from Baltimore. So shout outs to the city of Baltimore, man. But no, this brother is a dedicated brother. He's consistent. And he's shown up. I've been able to see him grow. I met him a while back. I believe it was like on a short film, but we'll get into that a little bit later. He's also my fraternity brother. Shout outs to the brothers of Omega Psi-Phi. But this next brother we're bringing up is Anthony Cool Ant Williams. Yeah, my man.
Basketball game just now.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank y'all for having me. I love platforms like this.
Yeah, this is our first time doing this, so we're pretty excited about it. And I think the timing of God is also interesting as well. And I don't know if you know this, but in Baltimore, like, everybody was like, oh, cool Ant. Everybody was like talking about you. Yeah. And I'm like, all right. And I started following you on social media and just seeing you places. And Baltimore, people think so highly of you, because you pour so much into the community and God's light really be shining through you. And I remember saying, when I just piqued the interest with my friend Key saying she does film, I'm like, I think I want to get into film. I was still at Frostburg. This was in 2016. And I said, I gotta get in. And I asked you, and you were so open and willing to do that. So, but also what you don't know is in 2016, that film we shot helped me get into USC.
Oh, that's
so
fire.
Right. So here we are full circle.
Dang, that's what's up.
Yeah. So I just wanted to thank you for being here today. Thank you. And just being so open with people from our community and the way you pour into it.
Thank you.
Well, we definitely gonna let you talk a little bit about yourself, but beyond comedy, Ant's like a community staple for us in the city, organizing runs all across the city, being a upfront example of what growth looks like on a young Black man coming from an urban area. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Like, what was it like growing up in Baltimore and how you got to where you are now?
And you know, you say like God's timing, right? Like people don't know, my mom a minister, you know? And like, so I grew up in a like faith-based house, and she never forced us to be like one certain way, like, oh, you had to be Christian or you had to go to church on Sundays. Like, if you want to come, but just know in this house we're gonna practice these rules. Like, you know, like you ain't gotta go outside of this and do whatever, but when you in here, this is what's gonna happen. So like, I grew up in a strong household, small household, so we was close. It was 6 of us. Like starting out, it was 6 of us in a 2-bedroom. So we ain't had no choice but to be close, you know. And then like by the grace of God, we was in buying I say we, because I ain't buy nothing. My dad bought a crib in the same neighborhood that my mom grew up in, you know, along with where my grandmother lived at. So I say, bro, for the last like 25 years, I was in the same neighborhood. So I was like, what y'all saw me doing in the city, like I always use like my neighborhood as like the testing grounds. But to be able to do the same thing that like my grandma did 45 years ago, you know, my mom did for her 50 years of living there. And it's like, when you see these things, you're like, dang, like the Williams still have this impact. And that seed was planted so long ago, you know? So for me, bro, it was tough though, I'm not gonna lie. Baltimore is one of those cities where like, it's hard to make the right decision, especially as a kid. Cause like everybody breaking the rules, bro. And like, it's easily to get clowned, it's easily to get left out. Like it's better now. But when I was coming up, because I like to give credit to the growth as well, right? But when I was coming up, bro, like you get clowned for doing the right thing. Straight up. Like if you was reading, they be like, damn, smart self reading books. You like, all right, let me close this and you know. So it's definitely one of those things. Like now, I see why it pays off. Like I write my journal a lot, and one of my favorite quotes I wrote was, "I've been got started, but I'm just seeing results."
Right. You know. Yeah, the process.
Yeah, bro.
It's taking time.
Yeah, it's tough, man. We definitely endured some barriers, bro. Like, I don't know how much I want me to share, like, what I've been through in the city. Or, like,
we want you to share it all.
Yeah, like, you know? I've been, you know what I'm saying, set up, robbed, bro. I've been got there going, like, through. I've been used, I'll be honest. Like, even with, like, comedy, like, when I first started comedy, I had some, like, guys from the city coming to me, like, let me help you, bro. I'm gonna show you how to make money from doing this. Whole time, they was making money I didn't even know about. And I'm being honest, like, you know, I'm an upfront guy, bro. Yeah. I'm hitting these dudes, like, yo, I would come tonight and perform, but, bro, I can't even buy a drink. Like, I'm performing for people that's having more fun than me. Yeah. And they coming to see me. Yeah. And my homie like, oh, I got you, man. He'll buy me a drink, 2 drinks or something. And then, like, I find out he getting paid by the bar at the end of the night. And I'm like, dang, why Baltimore? Like, come on, bro. So my approach, bro, I was doing everything for everybody else that wasn't happening for me. Wow. And I mean, like, doing it. I remember my first big gig, Eastern Shore. This was like 2014, 2015. Where they gave me $8,500 to come down there and do that homecoming show. Wow. And they was like, we want you. I said, I got to bring my friends. With my own money, bro, I got a Sprinter. I paid everybody. I took like 10 comedians down there. Everybody got paid. We all had a good time. So like that just stemmed from me just seeing like the city just being so messed up, like everything all over the place, and me just like, all right, what little things can I do, you know, to get this spark? And luckily, and like I think you again, like you said, I was consistent, but the consistency from as far back as I remember when I started like really like being intentional about, I want to make people day better. Rather it be through an Instagram skit, rather it be through like helping you out. Wow. As far back as I can remember from like, I see like age like 16. It was in high school. So I almost remember the day. It was like age 16. I was like, all right, I got to do right by people. And from that day, I can just say like, everybody I touched, like, or had that encounter with, it was just time that built that up. It wasn't like it was a video that went viral or like something that just happened. It was like, well, you can go from California to Miami to Detroit to Chicago to North Carolina to Cleveland, and literally just be like, yo, y'all know Ant? And like, same thing. It's gonna be the same message. And I'm not bragging, by the grace of God, I'm not bragging, but it's just a blessing to see like where your hard work and like your intentions, like how your intentions finally just pay off. No.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Thank you.
Because a lot of people don't know that. Like, you know, there are a lot of people who may just follow you now, or maybe they're listening to this podcast and they're going to see all the things that you're doing, sharing that. I mean, our target audience with this is young people who are trying to get to where we are right now, or people who are where we are right now. Maybe they're trying to navigate it and figure it out. And we're trying to, you know, be here to spread the good news of God. But also, like, the word is still alive. Like, your story matters. Like, that's why we do want to know that, right? Our pastor, Pastor John, who was just on with us, he talks about that all the time. Like, sometimes it's good for you to read something in Scripture. That's beautiful. But there are people today who need to hear your story. You know what I mean? Like, because they're going to get more from, like, what you share than maybe connecting with a character in the Bible, so to say.
Maya Angelou, bro, she got a quote that says, "There's no greater agony than bearing the untold story inside you." And I counter that and be like, how do you want to tell that story? Is it through preaching? Is it through music? Is it through art? Is it through dancing? But like, tell your story. Is it through comedy? You know, is it through hosting a podcast? Like, is it through, you know, you creating the arts that you're creating and bringing those visions and those stories to life? So it's like, we as people, like, we really do ourselves a disservice by not sharing that. I grew up in a house too, bro, like, my mom, she probably gonna kick me in the butt, but I told her, like, I'm gonna start telling the truth, Mom. But like, we swept everything under the carpet, bro. Like, when we went outside, you thought we was the Hiltons, Paris Hilton, and you thought we was them. Boy, they was like, they living good. We getting there, glass being broken, people yelling, like arguing, fussing, and it's like, dang, you know. So to see it and now, like, to live in my truth, it feels so good, dog. Like, I was molested as a kid, right? I know this is a heavy hit, right, y'all? I was molested as a kid, around like between age 5 and 7. And I say that because I remember when I started playing tackle football, it wasn't happening, right? That's all I remember. As far back as I can start remembering, I remember one of my first memories is getting molested, no cap, right? True story. And I just told my family at age 26, when I graduated college, bro. I'm feeling good, just got a job at DTLR. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I'm driving home, and my sister like, you keep talking about you happy with life and you made it. Like, why are you saying that? And I was like, yo, look, I'm gonna tell you something, you know what I'm saying? Don't tell nobody. And I told her what happened between, you know, me and one of my cousins, and she slammed on the brakes, like, yo, we knew it. And this particular person had a bad reputation in the family already, but everybody kept sweeping under the carpet. And I was like, yo, no, forget that. Told the story. Like, I'm not gonna keep bringing up God because we're on the God show, but this is how I really live.
No, talk about God, bro.
Tell you how God worked. The day I tell my sister I got off work, it was like 6 p.m. coming from Arundel Mills, going down to Baltimore, East Baltimore specifically.
Shout out East Baltimore.
You know?
Northeast.
And when I tell my sister she runs in the house, why the mother of my cousin is in my house this day.
Wow.
The day. I waited 26 years to tell what happened to me. And the day I tell it, this lady's in my house randomly. I ain't seen her in months. I'm like, oh my gosh. So of course, everything, you know, fell out, broke loose, everybody coming around. But I say that to say, bro, everybody in my house, I said this was everybody, right? They crying, they on the floor. Boy, I can't believe not you, Aunt. Because when you see me, bro, you don't think I've been through nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Not you, Aunt, not you. And bro, I'm standing 10 toes like, dang. I done dealt with this for the last 20 plus years. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? It's y'all turn now to deal with it. And I feel amazing. They crying. I'm sitting in there like, God dang it, y'all feel bad. I'm in here like, I finally said it. Like, I finally said it. And I couldn't even be mad in the moment. I'm in there trying to solve it. I said, look, go get your son. Ain't no police officer, not a detective, not a lawyer. Nobody's gonna solve this. It's a family issue because I know more than what y'all think.
Right.
And of course, they didn't handle it the way I hoped for them to handle it. So that was a big reason why when Nike offered me that job, bro, I left in 2 weeks with $2,000 in my pocket that I didn't even have yet. I was waiting for my next check. But I just knew, like, I don't want this for mine. Like this thing got to get cut off at some point. Like, you got to cut the head off this snake at some point. And if cutting that head off, what they say, it's a scripture. Dang, what they say, something God say, like, it's something with your left hand, your right hand, you got to cut it off. Like, what is it? I forgot.
We gonna figure it out.
We'll find it. We'll find that.
That's
you know?
That's the final scripture.
I think it's something similar, like it's around it. Somebody probably broke it down to me like in that way. You know what I'm saying? But it stemmed from a scripture of like, just basically like, look, if you gotta, you know how people say like, yo, God will remove you from, he'll do whatever he gotta do to remove you from a situation. It's like, that's not always bad.
Right.
Like, it's not always bad. Him removing you from a situation can be a job offer. You know, it can be a friend telling you to like apply to this or come with me here. Like, it can be, it's times where I tell my friend like, bro, come with me. Nah, I'm good. And he ended up locked up that night. And I'm like, see, that was God, literally giving you out. You know what I'm saying? So just seeing stuff like that, bro, and it feels good. It feels good to tell your truth. It feels good to live in your truth.
Wow.
Yeah,
it
sounds a lot like, you know, even through all of that, God has had his hand on you.
Yeah, sure.
And been covering you. How I mean, even going through those ups and downs in comedy, like, you know, people kind of playing you, not letting you know that there's money out there. I know I dealt with that. We had conversations around that.
Yes.
Being very green when we first got here. I'm producing movies. You know, some of these things can be seen out
credit,
there.
No money.
No money showed up for it. Obviously, we learned. But how were you able to maintain your faith through the, you know, being molested, through being played as it relates to money and trying to navigate your way here? Sounds like faith played a major role in that. What kept you strong? What kept you grounded?
Yeah. So I tried to commit suicide when I was a teenager, right? And it was that night where I thought to myself, like, dang, I was like, yo, and it really stemmed from like thoughts of me thinking like, yo, am I gay? Am I not gay? Like, you know, and we grew up in the times where you could not be gay. You better not be gay. Like, especially in no black house, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, so I try to check myself out, bro. That night, bro, my mom, I lied to her. I said, man, I had a dream I died. Like, I woke up like I was laying in the casket. So she comes, she praying for me, I go to sleep. And like, while I wake up the next morning, I'm like, dang, bro, like, I really got that far in life, like that low in life, I was willing to even think that thought. You know, and I tried to suffocate myself, which was pretty stupid because it's so hard to do. But nonetheless, I'm like, dang, I got that low that I even tried to do that, right? So it was like, all right. And I was about to say something. We'll talk about this off camera.
No, but this is good. Yeah.
So it's like, when you get that low, you get, and it's so cliche to say you can only go up. Like every day after that feels like a better day.
Yeah.
No matter how bad that day is, it's not worse than that one.
Right.
And when I saw, bro, I started, like, it was like a little bit after that I started doing the Instagram joint. And when I saw like the impact I was having on people, I'm like, me? Like, hold up, dog. People hitting me like, you making my day so much better. Like, my mom in the hospital and I'm watching your page all day and it's making me laugh. And I'm like, dang, y'all, I'm over here crying. Like,
wow.
You know? And but to see the impact I was having on people, and that takes me back to something else I wrote where I was like, yo, one thing about a blessing is we never know when we're going to get one, but we're always in position to be one.
Straight up.
Always.
That's good.
So it was like, yo, stop waiting on it. Just literally just do it. Like,
yeah.
Like, so I say that's where the faith came, bro. Just realizing, like, regardless of what, I never lost my value. Like, regardless of what I've been through, regardless of who did it, how bad it was, even when I did it to myself, I wake up tomorrow and God was like, you're you. Yeah. I'm like, dang, I got another 24. My arms still work, my head, you know, I can still think, I can still move, I can still talk, and just like appreciating the smaller blessings, cause like it can be snatched at any moment, dog. Like,
yeah, man.
Wow. That's so good. I wonder, I meet different comedians and it seems like there's always a unique, distinct story, and sometimes it centers around pain. And I've listened to comedians and you'll be able to smile and say some of the most painful things. Yeah. So I wonder, does comedy heal you?
Yeah, it does. Like it really does, but it's not the answer though. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, healing takes so many ways.
Yeah,
you know, it's a process. Yeah, right. And we laugh about it only because we already healed from it.
Right.
Or we're hoping to heal from it. Yeah. You know, you either hiding the pain or you're already over it. That's the only reason you can smile through it, you know? And as comedians, we got to figure it out for ourselves. Because, yeah, we make these people laugh, but we can't expect from them after the show to come and say, I know you said this joke about your uncle, okay? Are you okay? Because they paid to come and be entertained. They're not worried about to be our therapist. That's for us to go seek that. And then the people we love around us to see that, you know? So it's times my friends might hit me like, all right, bro, hey, what's going on, you know? Like, hey, that was a new joke right there, but that came from somewhere, bro. Because we understand that about each other as friends, you know? And so that comes away from the crowd and more so like in your personal space. So I would definitely say that. Like a lot of the jokes, even for myself, like a lot of it that I laugh at is stuff that I'm like, dang, like I really made it through that. Like, I can't believe that happened. Like, I can't believe I saw that. I can't believe I experienced that. You know, and I want to share this with the people. And when you do that, like when I shared the story of me being molested, y'all, it didn't come out with my family. That wasn't the first time it came out, right?
Wow.
We was at Kings and Queens in New Orleans, right? We down there, bro. And, you know, the last Sunday they had that church service. Tell you how God worked, right? I tell everybody I'm with, yeah, because we went out that Saturday. I said, y'all ain't got to go to the service. I'll go. I'll represent us. You know what I'm saying? I'm Mr. Bowie. I got this. I get down there, just me and my advisor. She's like, where everybody? I'm like, oh, they good. So long story short, the woman that was preaching, she ended up cutting the preach short and like walking around and was like anointing people, like speaking on their lives. And she came to my table first, touched the guy. She was like, you're going to be a doctor. Went to another table. Long story short, she ended up at our table. You know, she put her hand on my shoulder, y'all, and was like, you're going to be a preacher. I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. She like, why it's crazy? I said, my mother always say that. She been saying that for years, right? And she was like, yo, believe mom. So we had to stand up after she touched us. So I stand up. It's probably like 4 of us in the room standing up at this point. And she go over to another table. I don't know what she said to this girl, but the girl like busting out crying, right? And she was like, all right, she grabbed my shirt. We're going to change it up a bit. She said, if you ever been molested or sexually harassed, stand up or stay standing. Everybody else sit down. I wanted to sit down so bad. Y'all, my legs would not move. I swear to God. I swear to God. Like my legs would not move. Like I'm really there. And I felt my seat on the back of my, like behind my knees. I'm feeling my seat. I'm like, dang. Like, and I'm looking around this room. You know how many people are there? You know what I'm saying? Hundreds, like from all over. So everybody now looking at, like, you know, they like, and I just won the Friendliest King Award too, that joint. So everybody like, nah, yo, not you, bro, not you. I'm the only man standing up, you feel me? Like, not you. My man, Coach T, my advisor, she turned around, like, she was like, what? Break down crying. You know, I just couldn't move, bro. But like, the power in that was like, I go back to school, and now they got me speaking to the incoming freshmen, you know what I'm saying, about sharing their stories. Even women on campus I was speaking to about speaking out, sharing their stories, you know? Right. And I'm like, I'm a man doing this, you know? And to be in a community where it was accepted from, it was easier than me going out to the real world and doing it. So like Bowie kind of was like a cushion for me expressing what I've been through. And college do that, you know what I'm saying? College do that. So I had a little more cushion, and then I had a lot more support, because there was people coming to me like in private, yo, my basketball coach, my granddad, my uncle, my cousin, my brother, homeboy, my swim coach. And you're like, oh my gosh, it always happens to the people we're supposed to trust.
Right.
You know? Like the ones we, like dang, bro. You know, so like now me with anybody, I protect any and everybody, I promise you.
He does.
I promise you, I'm not playing with nobody. I bully the bullies. You're not gonna take advantage of not a soul around here. And my mom, sometimes she was like, you gotta chill. I said, God did it. God protected his people, I can't protect mine. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I am him, but he made me an image and likeness of him. He pulled us from his rib. He just put me from the rib where it's like, hey, we gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta buckle down and bite our teeth a little bit. Like, but you're not gonna do this. Because people, you know what I'm saying? So.
That's courage, man. We were talking about this in a previous episode, but about how stuff does happen to young men. It's just not as acceptable to talk about it.
Straight up.
And I think this is a full circle moment for that, because you're now allowing space for our young listeners who have those stories to know, like, no matter, something could have happened to you. That could have happened to you. That's not going to stop your destiny. I think that's the trick of the enemy. So true. The trick of the enemy is for something to happen to you, and then for you to feel like you're not worthy.
You across the room, bro. I love that one, bro.
Yeah, you know, like,
that is.
It makes you feel not worthy. That's the trick.
That's so true.
The trick is not the actual thing that happened to you. It's what happens to you after. It's what it does to your mind and your perception.
Bro. Make sure you crop that part out and put it on Instagram by itself.
That's good.
For real, that was really good.
I was thinking that too.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I put the box around his head.
Yeah.
My mom's here right now. My mama used to always say I was either gonna be a doctor or a preacher or something. My grandmother called me that too. But I think we do it through in different ways now.
Yeah.
It doesn't say who
ministry.
Ministry, straight up.
Oh, for sure, bro. Like we took the church outside, bro.
Yeah.
Like we are really friends that be outside talking. Like, we be in the bar and we talking about like life changing things, like real like man conversation. That's why I tell you all the time, I hit the group. I'm probably the soft one in the group message, but I always hit the bros like, thank y'all so much, bro. Y'all know what this means to me, bro. And I'm like the little brother in the frat, like, so it's like, you know, like, and no matter how much, like, I probably like bump my head or like fall short, whatever. It's like, I know I got these men around me. They're men.
Yeah.
Like, they are men, you know, and I lead from their examples, and I'm able to do it to an audience that look at me in a different way, you know? So,
yeah, no, for sure. I don't want to skim past some of this stuff. Like you talked about being at Bowie State University, HBCU. Shout outs to Bowie State.
Sir.
You talked about being Mr. Bowie.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that journey.
Yeah, so that was the changing point in my life. When I did my interview with Nike, that was the reason I got my job. I feel like because they was asking me like, what was that changing point in your life? And I told them I played sports all my life from age 6 to 18. Like, yo, my dad and mom was banking on me and my brother going to the league for something. Yeah. They just want us to make it. They know like, yo, we going like, it was times I was missing school to go to football practice, or like missing school because my dad wanted me to lose weight for wrestling. Like I had to lose 15 pounds by Friday, and it was like, all right, we ain't going to class today. Like, so like they needed that though, because like how many other ways did we know? You know what I'm saying? Growing 100%. Up, we didn't. So I got to college 2011. Albright College. I'm up there, bruh. I get into a scruffle. This white dude smacked this girl, and he ended up jumping my white friend, right? So my friend called me. He like, bro, I just got jumped, bro. Like, and so, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, where you at? So he said, I'm running to the dorm rooms. He's like running to the dorm room. So I'm running out the dorm rooms, trying to see where he at. And I see him running down the block with two, but the biggest dudes I seen running behind him. So like as they running, bro, we just, you know what I'm saying, we collide, like right at it, you know? And I didn't know what happened. I just know it was two people chasing my friend.
Right.
So when I found out they hit the girl, I'm like, all right, we safe. Like we good, bro, you know? But long story short, ended up having to leave the school because of the fight. And that's why I'm so thankful about Bowie. You know, I'm so happy about Bowie. Walked on that Bowie, and it is gonna get to the point, like the whole Mr. Bowie thing. Walked on that Bowie, made the team spring 2014, and they ain't had no money to really give me, so I got work, started working, ended up owing Bowie too much money, right? So I had to leave Bowie in fall 14, left Bowie, leave Bowie, that's when I got robbed in 2015 in Baltimore, right? But the guy that set me up, said how God worked. He wanted me to show him where somebody lived at. Like, show me where such and such live at. It was a guy I was doing comedy with. I didn't even know he was out there like that, right? So he like, show me where he live at. I'm like, I can't do that, bro. I can't do that. You know, long story short, he ended up taking some money from me, and before he left, that's why Baltimore was so funny, y'all. True story. He said, Aunt. I said, what? He told me his name, right? He was like, I'm from such and such and such and such. Store my number and call me if you need me. He said, my baby mother love you, my kids love you, and I can't imagine this city without you. But get away from these petty N-words. And I said, I'm gone. Yeah. Bro, I went back. I ended up getting out of the situation, get home. I told my mother, she's like, you can go to Kansas with your aunt. I said, I don't want to go to Kansas. Like, if I'm going to go anywhere, I want to be happy. Like, I'm tired of stressing, tired of being upset, tired of being in a place I don't want to be. So I ended up going to Bowie. I paid them down a bit, from like the $15,000 I owed them. They realized when I got into financial aid, they was like, we're so sorry. I'm like, what? They said, we were charging you out-of-state tuition all that time.
Wow.
You never owed money. Swear to God.
You never owed money.
Never owed the bread.
Wow.
So,
did you get it back?
Yeah, I got it back. But it wasn't worth it, though, because, like, what you go through in the time, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, get back. And so I never really shared all this, yo. It's crazy, dog.
No, this is beautiful.
No, it's beautiful, man.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Man, get back in school. And, hold up 1 second. It's crazy.
Take your time, bro. Take your time.
So I get back in school, bro. They let me in, gave me the money back. Like I said, I didn't care about the money. I'm a big time person. I'm a big, like, all this that I went through, you know. So I get back in, I'm trying to find purpose at this point, like, dead serious, because I'm not playing football, you feel me? And I'm in school, I'm like, all right, I don't know nothing else. I only know how to be funny and be athletic, you know? So I asked I was in the quad, and I asked my roommate, I'm like, bro, what's the high? Because they was posting all this SGA stuff coming up, right? And I didn't know what SGA meant. So I asked my man, like, bro, what's the highest position I can run for in this school, bro? Like, what can I do, bro? And he was like, Mr. Bowie. So I'm like, all right, what is it? He was like, you'll be like the Candace King, bro. You know, so we go look at some pictures like, oh, Mr. Bowie's and stuff. And I went right on Twitter that day. I swear I went on Twitter. And I said, I'm going to run for Mr. Bowie. And I got all these messages like, you can't post it. You can't tell nobody. You ain't supposed to announce it until this. You know, I'm new to this. I don't know. So end up going to the meeting, and they were like, yeah, you got to do a pageant. I said, what's a pageant? And they was like, you got to do oratory, evening wear, and a talent. I was like, all right, what's evening wear? And, I don't know none of this, you know? So I was like, yeah, I'm good. I went to go walk out. And I remember this like yesterday, dog. The dude, Coach D, yo, this like, I call him my second pops, because it was like that point when I talk about the people in your life. I talk about the people in your life, he was one of them, right? Yo, this man grabbed me, dog, right? like I'm trying to walk up the steps, he grabbed me by the back of my shirt, pulled me in the back, like behind the curtains, and was like, listen, we ain't never had nobody like you try to run for a position like this. We need it. We need it. He telling me how I can change the whole trajectory of the joint. I'm like, you just met me, bro. Right? But in the day, y'all, he ended up, I said now, but like he was sending me like YouTube videos of like how to give a speech, how to keep your hands in the box. Like, you know, like he was showing me how to dress. Like literally like what colors I should wear with my suit. I didn't know none of this. I'm like, dang, like, and I'll be honest, dude was gay, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Teach me how to be a man.
Yeah.
Feel me? Or an elevated man.
Yeah.
Feel me? So I'm like, yo, I appreciate this so much. Like, end up, y'all, same way I just bust tears just now. Yo, I told the story about me getting put out of my school, because the subject was, why do HBCUs matter? right? And I told this story about how I got put out my first college, Albright, that I told y'all, right? It's crazy how all this just come together. And I tell that story, as I'm telling the story, y'all, at the end of it, I was like, yeah, that guy that I was just talking about, that was me. That's why I'm standing right here right now, because I had no other option. So when y'all asked me why HBCUs are important, right? And just side note, when I got accepted at Albright, I was talking so much trash about other people. I was like, yeah, I'm going to all white school. I'm good. I'm with the white people. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? Feeling like I made it because I'm one up on my people, not realizing like, and that's why I said HBCUs are important. I said it's so hard to adapt to another culture when you don't have a full understanding of your own.
Yeah, it is.
And HBCUs give you that. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in Baltimore. I never saw black people. That's why I joined the frat. I never saw black people partying, having fun, and waking up, going to class, and maintaining 3.0s and getting each other jobs. And I'm like, hold up, what type of gang is this? Like, I ain't never seen this type of action. I need parts of this. Like, give me that. And I want it for mine and his and his and his, you know? And like just now, you introduced me to your dad. And I was telling my friend back here, I'm like, yo, like imagine that. Imagine doing something so positive that years later, you know what I'm saying? You don't even know if you're going to have a boy or a girl, but the thing that you had just followed up with what you did because you chose to make that decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we don't live for ourselves, bro. We live for the next.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? That's beautiful, man. Brother, so comedy, you're big on social media. You did the comedy thing. You're community organizer. You got people in Baltimore running, man. You creating a healthy environment for them. But then you got a Nike commercial.
Yeah, bro.
You got a Nike commercial and you work for Nike. Tell us a little bit about that. Like talk about that. That's a major level.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna close that Mr. Bowie thing. I feel like I ain't close that out, right? But I'll say that to say like Mr. Bowie changed my life because it showed me I was more than an athlete, right?
Okay.
So, and then that would roll into a Nike thing. So I'm like, I can be a leader. You know, I could do this. So at Bowie, I wasn't playing sports, so I started running. Like because that was like my only outlet to get out like my athletic frustration.
Right.
You know, graduate, then I graduated 18. COVID hit the end of 19, really, because I got sick in December. So 2020, that's when it really came about.
Wow.
And I saw all these statistics about COVID is affecting the black community. And bro, it was really like commercials they was making, like black people need this. Like y'all, and they had people I knew doing commercials, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, come on, dog. Like why y'all really pitching this to us like this? Like, is it really that bad? And I went and did some research and I found out it was really that bad. Like in the black community, it was really that bad, dog. And that's why now I gotta figure out why. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing some digging. I don't know how I found this, but the city has a map that's broken down by the zip codes, right? And every zip code have a life expectancy rate in these neighborhoods. They got like a red zone, yellow zone, and green zone, right? I lived in red all my life. And it says life expectancy was like 60 to 65, right? And when I thought back on like growing up, I'm like, it makes sense. I remember this person died from a heart attack. This person died from cardiovascular. You know what I'm saying? This person died because they caught something because their cardiovascular was messed up. So I'm like, all right, why is cardiovascular so, what is that? I found out it was the foods we was eating.
Yep.
It was the fact we wasn't active. It was the fact we didn't have access to the health care and even the education of, right? To just know. Like you go in certain parts of Baltimore, they got parks like across the street from people's houses. And then you go in the hood and it's vacant.
Yeah.
And it's like you could have done something with that to help us, right? So I had a couple friends just came home from jail, right? I linked up with them. They wanted to get into personal training. Like a lot of them was already doing it, but I'm like, bro, we can elevate this. Look, I said, let's get a program, bro. We're gonna take it to the hood, bro, right? We're gonna do free fitness programs for the hood. We're gonna literally, like I said, y'all run the fitness aspect, the workout, the weights, the pull-ups and all that. I'll handle the runs. I'll make the route, because I wanted the route to be intentional about us running through the hood, because I wanted them to see us. You know what I'm saying? We don't see it. Like, bro, we the first day I remember, I was like, make this left. People said, through the projects? I said, yes, make this left. And we running through the projects, dog, and it brings so much joy, like through Latrobe, right? Down to Douglas, down Perkins, like we did all of them, bro, and it feels so good when you see kids looking out, like they busting screens out the windows, like, you know what I'm saying, trying to see what we doing, or even if you get a little kid that run with you for 3 seconds, like he just trying to race you real quick into the end of the block because he can't go past the light pole. It's like, you know, that brings joy and it starts something, bro. And bro, it's people I've seen on the corner every day all my life. It was one day, I wasn't even running, I was driving a DTLR truck because I was hurt. And yo, my homie, bro, I'm at a red light, he runs up to the window like, I'm out here, dummy. Bro, I'm looking at him like, oh my God. And I'm getting chills, bro. Like that day I'm getting so chills. I'm like, yo, this man, watch this man sit right on that block every day, all day. And then he ran, he was good at it, you know? So, like,
just for those who don't know, Dummy is like a person, place, or thing. It could be anything in the city.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's crazy. Like in Baltimore, we one of those cities that like find the beauty in things.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have it. So like it might come off aggressive, or it might come off like, what are you talking about? But we was so restricted to things, we had to make the best of it. You know? So it's like, even if it's limited to words, it's like, we're gonna have fun with it. Let's make them up. Let's you know what I'm saying? Let's joke about it. Let's pack each other at the table. And you know, it builds tough skin. Like and some people might say, like, oh, it's too aggressive. We shouldn't be raised like that. Y'all, it is what it is. I couldn't change it. It's the culture of the city.
And I don't want to cut you off, but I want to loop that running and how that led to Nike.
Oh, my bad. There we go. So I was working at DTLR at the time. Ran into a guy, my man, Russell James, bro. I'm always shout him out. Another black brother, right? He was working at Nike. He had the position that I now have, and he was getting promoted. I didn't know what he did, so I invited him to one of my runs. Genuinely, I was like, "Let's come out." He came to the first one. It was like 4 people, and then when he came back to the run, it was like 500. Right?
Yeah.
Nike had this campaign called Play New. And they wanted to tell people stories about how they were like incorporating sport into the community. And I didn't know Russell pitched me. He didn't tell me nothing. I got a random email one day that was like, hey, Anthony, we see what you're doing in Baltimore. We had this campaign. We want to tell your story. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm down with that. Like, I ended up calling Russell, like, yo, is this real? He's like, yeah. So $500,000 budget, man. They flew from Portland to Baltimore. And when they got to the neighborhood, it was like, oh, snap, this is real. I was like, bro, this is it. This is what y'all got. Like, and true story, bro. After they did the commercial, it was like, they called me the next week. It was like, Ant. I said, what's up? They said, yo, you're like one of the only non-Olympic athletes that we chose for this campaign. And they was like, we got people sitting at the table right now that's saying, we can't tell this man's story and just leave him.
Wow.
Like, what can we do to help you?
Wow.
I'm like, cut me a check. Hey, give me the money.
Hey, cut me a check.
Hey, cut the check. They was like, and they so real, bro. They was like, nah, man, we can't do that. It's just gonna be waste. Like we want to build a relationship. We want to help you. So they started by setting me up with their nonprofit side, and like I was really building a real Nike relationship with the nonprofit side. It was crazy, bro. They had me on meetings every week. Like they was teaching me how to formulate my nonprofit. You know what paperwork I need, what I should do, who I should reach out to, everything. They was giving me the blueprint. And then Russell hit me and was like, yo, I'm getting promoted, bro. You should apply to my position right now. Do it right now. I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna get that. He's like, do it. Apply, crush the interview. But yeah, I ended up applying to the job, getting the role. And it's so funny because they hired me 1 week and I never told them about the video, the hiring side, right? Like my manager, never told him about the video. Following week, he called me like, Ant, I'm like, what's up? How the heck you ain't tell me about this? I'm like, yo, I ain't wanted to interfere with the process. Like, I wanted y'all to know me for me. Like, I ain't want y'all to be like, oh, he doing a Nike video, let's hire him. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. So when he found out, bro, he was like, dog, it's so much controversy right now because, like, you're like the first person, you know what I'm saying, that had this position that ever even had a commercial about to drop after this. Like, you just got hired, and now the people gonna look at it like, oh, wait, why they do that for? Like, is that, you know what I'm saying? And it was two separate things, but by the grace of God, they ended up dropping that joint. You know what I'm saying? And luckily, I don't have no selfish co-workers, so they all blasting and like, look at my bro. So that's how that came about, bro. And like, even now, like, I'll go to certain Nike stores and they like, hey, yo, I saw you before, bro. I'm like, yeah, I was that guy on the app for a minute. So
yeah, that's fire, man. I think God is showing up in your life. I mean, just listening to your story, God's covered you. God's blessed you.
Real.
Our city is one of the toughest cities to grow up in. Even like you said, you had your mom and you had parents, and even for those like us, we still, the nature of the city still won't miss you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I found myself arrested. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, how do you, Frederick Douglass Ramsey Jr., how did you get to this point? How did you find yourself in these struggles or in these situations? So to come out of that, I think it's powerful. Man, talk about, in closing, I want to say, talk about,
so good.
Talk about that journey with God, man, and talk to people who are from where you're from or like places like where you're from or where we're from, and give them, what you think they would need to get to where you are and beyond.
Faith, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. That's the only dog. It's nothing like you gotta believe in something. If you don't believe in no one, believe in something.
Yeah.
Like you cannot believe in nobody, but you gotta believe in something, and something bigger than yourself. That's what I mean when I say that. Like you can look at every human and be like, I don't believe that, but you gotta just believe something in yourself. And for me, it's like I tell my mom this. I'm like, my God show up too much not to give him credit.
Straight up.
Like he have shown like how many more progress reports do we need? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times do we got to do it to show me? Marlon Wayne said something like, well, I got to keep proving that I'm great. How many things I got to do to keep proving them? Sometimes I be imagining God up in heaven like, come on, yo, you ain't trust me? Like, we be like, thank you, God. You're like, come on, all right, all right. I had that figured out. You know, it was like, we just got to trust, bro. I've been through, I just shared all that with y'all, right?
Yeah.
And I'm here today.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, matter of fact. It's my first favorite quote that I ever wrote. I would love to end on that note. I said, bro, it's crazy how I can look like nothing I've ever been through in life, but perfectly fine for every blessing coming my way.
Come on.
Wow.
Feel me, bro? Think about everything you've been through in life. The butt whippings you got, the times you was hungry, times you was broke, times you was whatever, times your heart got broke, times he put his hands on you, she put her hands on you. You did this. And then at some point, you're going to walk down the street and they're going to say, you look good.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
You like me?
Yeah.
So, like me?
Yeah.
See, all that? You don't even know.
That's
Yeah.
God.
And that's God, bro.
That's God.
That is God, bro. That's it. Like, who else is it?
Yeah.
Like, who else is it, bro? It ain't nobody else, dog.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So, that's it, man.
Man,
Wow.
thank you.
That's
Thank you.
such a beautiful testimony. Just think about how, you know, God has all full circle brought us all from Baltimore
Come on, man.
to LA to the point where we're here on this stage talking about our journeys, and I'm just so blown away and so in awe because I didn't even know what I was doing. And I said, will you be a part of something? And you said yes, you know, and I think we're so obedient where we have said yes and we have answered the call. And I'm just excited of how God is really going to bless us, our community, and the things we're going to do in Baltimore, but also in LA. I'm just
100%.
your impact. You
Profound,
really
bro.
are. You are impact, and you're an inspiration to our entire city, and I'm excited for the impact that you're going to have in Los Angeles.
I appreciate
100%.
y'all.
Man, look into that camera. Tell the people where they can follow you, where they can find you.
Look at my mouth, not my eyes, y'all, because I ain't crying. But now y'all can follow me on Instagram, cool_ant, Facebook, Anthony Cool Ant Williams for my Facebook users. And, email williamsanthony443@gmail.com if y'all want to like do some work, chop it up or something. So.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think we've been super blessed in this episode.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's give it up for Anthony Cool Ant Williams.
Appreciate it.